The year is 1241. At the gates of Legnica, a severed head sits atop a Mongol lance. It belongs to Duke Henry the Pious, the symbol of a shattered kingdom. For 40 years, this image haunted Poland, the dark prologue to the Third Mongol invasion of Poland in 1287. Generations whispered that the Golden Horde were the peoples of Gog and Magog, demons released to herald the end of days. Every wooden wall once failed, but by 1287, the fear is becoming iron. The Piast duchies are finally ready to change the rules of the game. Late 1287. The air is heavy and wet. There is no iron-hard frost to turn the Polish marshes into a solid highway for the steppe cavalry. Instead, a damp, biting cold hangs over the Vistula Valley. The earth has become a treacherous mire of half-frozen marshes and grey waters. This climate is more than a seasonal inconvenience. It is a tactical barrier. The Piast duchies have spent decades studying their enemy, and they are preparing a welcome of stone for the coming storm. Since the last invasion, a quiet revolution in architecture has transformed the landscape. The old wooden gróds are being replaced by murowane zamki, fortifications of stone and brick. Major centers like Kraków and Sandomierz now feature walls over 2 meters thick, built on deep stone foundations. These are not just defenses, they are strategic nodes. Duke Leszek the Black has stocked the granaries to survive months of isolation. The vulnerability of the past is gone. Poland has learned to build in stone. To the east, the Golden Horde is fractured. The invasion of 1287 is born from a bitter rivalry between the newly ascended Talabuga Khan and the veteran kingmaker Nogai Khan. Talabuga seeks military prestige to prove his legitimacy, while Nogai operates as an independent warlord. Their mutual loathing is so deep they refuse to coordinate or even meet in person. This friction is the first crack in the Mongol war machine. They expect an easy plunder, but they are walking into a trap. On December 7, 1287, the northern border shatters. 20,000 warriors under Talabuga Khan surge across the frontier. This column is a composite of elite Mongol Turkic cavalry and Ruthenian vassal units. Their goal is the destruction of Sandomierz. They carry portable mangonels and light catapults designed to break the wooden forts of old. But as they advance, the Polish knights do not ride out to meet them in the field. Instead, the gates of the stone cities groan shut. The hunt begins. Talabuga's strategy relies on speed, but the Vistula River remains stubbornly unfrozen. Without a bridge of ice, the 30,000 horses are forced into a desperate search for a ford. The mud clings to their hooves, dragging the speed of the Tumans into a crawl. This logistical nightmare gives Leszek the Black exactly what he needs: time. While the Mongols struggle with the terrain, the Polish High Duke is positioning his professional relief army deep within the rugged terrain of the Holy Cross Mountains. At Sandomierz, the Mongols face a nightmare in masonry. These new walls are built with Gothic brick and monk bond, standing 9 meters high. The Mongol mangonels strike the brickwork, but the stone foundations absorb the impact. Mining is impossible. Inside, the defenders remember the trickery of 1259 and refuse to speak of surrender. Frustrated and facing a mounting fodder crisis, Talabuga makes a fatal error. He disperses his host into small raiding parties to forage in the rugged wooded terrain of the mountains. This is the heart of Leszek's strategy, the passive-active defense. By refusing an open-field battle, he forces the Mongols into the one environment they cannot master: the winter siege. Every day spent at the walls of Sandomierz is a day the Mongol horses grow weaker. The Polish doctrine is calculated. First, hold the fortified nodes. Second, use local forces to strike isolated foraging detachments. Third, prepare the decisive counterblow. The invaders realize the countryside is empty of easy loot, only scorched earth remains. On December 20th, 1287, the trap snaps shut near Łagów. As Talabuga's raiding parties wander into the narrow valleys of the Świętokrzyski Mountains, the Polish High Duke strikes. The Mongol advantage in mobility is nullified by the trees and the broken ground. In these tight quarters, the horse archers cannot circle their prey. Polish knights engage the dispersed marauders in sharp, brutal clashes. It is no longer a conquest, it is a slaughter in the woods. The invincible horde is finally bleeding. The Battle of Łagów provides the first clear proof that the horde can be broken. Talabuga, his prestige wounded and his column depleted, orders a general retreat. By January 1288, the northern column has abandoned the campaign, withdrawing to winter camps in Lviv. This leaves the southern force isolated and vulnerable. The victory at Łagów is a triumph of intelligence and terrain. Leszek has shown that by stripping the Mongol riders of their room to maneuver, the Piast duchies can finally win. While Talabuga retreats, the southern column under Nogai Khan crosses the border on Christmas Eve. 10,000 elite riders move toward Kraków, the heart of the Piast dynasty. The city is a fortress of stone and memory. Leszek has spent years reinforcing the Łagów castle and the urban defenses. As the Mongols encircle the city, the air is thick with the scent of smoke and the tension of 1,000 years. Nogai's veterans launch fierce assaults, but the stone walls remain impassable. Inside Kraków, the granaries are full. The defenders look down from the battlements at a sea of riders who find no way inside. The Mongols suffer heavy casualties, their leaders falling under the precision of Polish crossbowmen. The strategic logic is undeniable. Kraków will not fall to a sudden rush, and Nogai lacks the supplies for a year-long blockade. The battlefield is a confusion of neighing horses and the rhythmic thud of arrows against masonry. The once invincible hunter has become the besieged. Under the cover of a freezing midnight, the legend of the Lajkonik is born. Raftsmen from the Twierdziniec district discover a Mongol camp near the city gates. Armed with paddles and axes, these men launch a daring surprise raid. In the chaos of the dark, they kill the Mongol generals and seize their flamboyant attire. As the sun rises, the raftsmen ride into Kraków, dressed as the enemies they slaughtered, turning terror into triumph. It reflects a tactical reality. The population is no longer paralyzed. High above the marketplace from the tower of St. Mary's Church, the trumpet call of the Hey Now Mariaki sounds every hour. It is a symbol of eternal vigilance, a warning that the city never sleeps. The music breaks off abruptly, a reminder of the archers below, but the message is sent. Kraków holds. Nogai, realizing the siege is a failure, divides his force to plunder the Podhale region. He hopes to draw Leszek into the open, but the defenders remain firm behind their stone sentinels. As the Mongols push south into the Tatra foothills, they enter the domain of the Górals. These highlanders are a people defined by the harshness of the mountains. They do not hide behind stone walls. They use the terrain as a weapon. In the narrow valleys of the Dunajec River, the battle becomes a series of brutal ambushes. Local highlanders use their knowledge of the mountain passes to trap the Mongol horsemen in deep snow. The horses, effective on the steppe, are useless here. The Górals strike with axes and heavy bows, fading back into the mist before the Mongols can retaliate. The resistance is so fierce that Nogai is forced to withdraw from the foothills entirely. He regroups his exhausted men to lay siege to the fortress of Stary Soch. But here too the stone defense holds. The city is well prepared and reinforced by local knights. Every day the Mongols wait, their supplies dwindle and their horses starve. The momentum of the invasion has completely stalled. By mid-January 1288, the strategic situation is a stalemate. Leszek the Black makes a critical decision. Entrusting the defense of Kraków to his castellans, he slips through the Mongol lines and rides for the Kingdom of Hungary. This is a massive diplomatic gamble. He seeks the aid of King Ladislaus IV, who has his own history of fighting the Horde. Ladislaus is eager to ensure the Mongols do not establish a foothold. He dispatches a relief force under his most distinguished lord, George Baksa. George Baksa, known as George the Salty, is a veteran of the Marchfeld. He understands that speed and violence are the only ways to win. He leads 1,000 elite cavalry through the mountain passes, moving with a velocity that mirrors the Mongols' own tactics. His force is not large, but it carries the psychological weight of total surprise. As they descend towards Stary Soch, they are joined by local Polish troops. The final confrontation of the invasion is about to begin. The climax occurs at the fortress of Stary Soch. The Hungarian-Polish coalition catches the Mongol army entirely off guard. In the confined space near the fortress, the Mongols cannot deploy their traditional feigned retreat. The coalition forces annihilate the detachment, killing the commander and freeing countless prisoners. This is the turning point where the outcome becomes inevitable. Nogai Khan realizes he is outnumbered and outmatched. He orders a general withdrawal, his warriors exhausted, and his campaign stripped of its primary objectives. The invasion is broken. By late January 1288, the Mongols have vanished from Lesser Poland. They leave behind a land that has learned how to bleed them. The victory validates the legacy of stone and the power of a unified defense. It transforms a fragmented land of victims into the shield of the Piasts. Poland has survived the winter through preparation, diplomacy, and the will to adapt. The walls of Sandomierz and the bells of Kraków stand today as silent witnesses to this victory of strategy over terror. The victory of 1287 proved that unity and preparation could blunt even the most formidable military machine. If you want to explore more stories of strategic adaptation and the battles that shaped our world, make sure to subscribe by scanning the QR code visible on your screen right now. Your support helps us continue uncovering the leadership decisions and tactical logic of history's greatest confrontations. Don't forget to like this video and join us for the next journey into the heart of medieval warfare.